So this is 22:10 hours GMT on Thursday, the 3rd of November 2022. This is the Khoodeelaar television channel, Baby Angel Geronimo editions, part 2, broadcasting on the internet, not on satellite, not on terrestrial, and most certainly not on cable platforms. This one will have updates that rarely has the name Pola Munzila Udin. That is taken from the latest edition of Private Eye, which is the edition number 1585, dated the 4th of November, the fortnightly, that is 4th of November to the 17th of November 2022. Does the camera capture that? Well, just about, yes. And Cruella Suella Fernandez, we called her Cruella 2 weeks before this edition of Private Lie is calling her belatedly. Now they say inside, what is the silliest name for Braverman? Cruella, Likisu, or Home Secretary? Of course, the Daily Star, the tabloid, Fleet Street tabloid, has made a speciality of calling lettuce Liz Truss. And they are working, I think, on Cruella Suella. But we have given original name, 2 words. One is Cruella and the other Evilla, Eviller. That is more evil than anyone else. Now, Cruella Fernandez is being shown in this picture and the bubbles, and Cruella is said to say to Rishi Sunak, "You've united the party, that is the Conservative Party, the United Kingdom." And Sunak is saying, "Yes, everyone agrees. I shouldn't have appointed you." Now, of course, this is the position that he has not admitted to when still defending Cruella, Evilla, in response to the questions raised during the ritual called the parliamentary prime minister's questions. And in the prime minister's questions, Rishi Sunak said that she is getting on with the job. Now that is a very serious claim. What job is she getting on with? The daily lies, the evil lie, the Canadian, well, Canada is via Canada, Canadian Beaverbrook, the racist criminal crook, has left the legacy of the Daily Express. And it is absolutely been worse than the Daily Mail, if that is possible, but it is being proven possible by the Daily Express, the criminals. Now, what they're doing in today's, that is Thursday edition of the Daily Express, is that they're saying that Evilla is eyeing up 3 more countries to send migrants. What the fuck? It is as if she is playing some kind of game, and the whole world, the planet Earth, is a playground for her. Evil, absolute evil, swear word, has no right, no call, no option to talk about choosing, eyeing up any country, let alone three more countries. How the fuck? And the Daily Express of the Beaverbrook, disgrace Beaverbrook. I mean, Michael Foot should be put to shame for writing that idiotic, servile, disgraceful book called Debt of Honor, dedicated to Vladimir Beaverbrook. Now, there is not even Rwanda is not part of the domain that any kind of so-called British politician can claim to be their playground. But this Beaverbrook's legacy, continued by the stupid shit exclusive called David Maddox, the mad one. This says Suella eyes up three more countries to send migrants. Fuck off. It says Suella Braverman will bid where? To end the Channel migrant crisis by targeting three more countries for deportation. This is nightmare. This is nightmare. Every kind of concept, every adjective is a depraved, corrupt, stupid, cruel adjective. And it lists three of the Latin American or South American countries. First one, Paraguay. Second one is Peru. And the third one is Belize. Now, these are not known. None of these countries is known for human rights or anything that can be cited as being consistent with the objective universal values of human rights and justice and fairness and welcome. Quite apart from that, what the fuck is Suella Braverman or any British politician doing sending people anywhere else? The country is signed up to international treaties, the United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom has to discharge its signed up duties. And the third thing, which is reminiscent of the 1960s or 70s, 1960s, probably 1940s, notice boards or notices put up by racists on their doorstep. No Irish, no dogs, and no blacks. And it is like this, that migrants are being treated with contempt and they're being given that kind of status, like the racists assigned to the Irish, the blacks, and the dogs. Now, in the so-called debate that is reportedly being kind of initiated or participated in by the so-called Labour Party, Keir Starmer is dead. None of the main issues that Suella the Eviler is raising, inciting, has been even touched on by the ignorant racist Starmer. So we should come to the Starmer's criminal record as a criminal himself. What is the criminality? The criminality is exposed in the fact that this criminal crook, Keir Starmer, was in the post of DPP, that is Director of Public Prosecutions. housed in the Crown Prosecution Service during the period when, well, this is the year 2009. So he was in post as the director of public prosecutions, which means that is supposed to be a procedural post, whereby the police, normally police give the evidence of the kind of crimes committed by the criminals, and the police do the primary kind of investigation, gather the evidence, collect the files, and put the files based on the evidence forward to the director of public prosecutions, who makes the main decision as to whether to ask the particular cases to be prosecuted. Now, when Paula Uddin, I mean, she is now stinking of new corruption and criminality by Paula Monzila Uddin. On page, what page is it? Page 15 of the New Private Lie, which is issue number 1585. There is a piece headed Group Stink. Now, Group Stink is a take from the Group Think that George W. Bush, one of his cabinet colleagues, kind of made popular during the lunatic adventure against the people of Iraq and Afghanistan, the mass murders that were aided and abetted by Tony Blair in the name of the so-called Labour Party. So this is a distortion, just a slight distortion. Group Stink from Group Think. And in this Group Stink on page 15, the Private Lie is saying the name Paula Uddin, Lady Uddin. She is no lady. She is a complete embarrassment, a disgrace. Now, it says rebuked for making. What did she make? That is the. Okay. Rebuked for making an ever lengthy speech in the House of Lords, former Labour peer, Lady Uddin, now non-affiliated, said she appreciated the leniency of the House in letting her ramble on for so long. A lenient House, indeed. In 2009, Uddin was found to have claimed more than £100,000 for a flat she did not inhabit. Now, this is putting it mildly. She was not found to have done that. She actually was engaged in a serial criminality. She is a thief. After careful scrutiny, the Director of Public Prosecutions, a certain Keir Starmer, decided not to bring charges against her. Now, why did he not do that? Because let's pause here. and look at his actual behavior and attitude and mentality. When he left after the 5 years, and after this incident, because this was 2009 and whatever, he left about 2013. So just before he left, the liar Starmer sucked up to the Conservatives and the likes of Ian Duncan, Darty's kind of Dracula Duncan Smith, who was the DWP cabinet member in the corrupt regime fronted by whoever was the corrupt. Was it? It must have been Cameron. Yes, it must have been Cameron. Because the Brexit and Brexiteers did not come out explaining why he didn't prosecute Paula Monzila-Udin, but just before he left the 5-year term as the DPP in 2013 or thereabouts, the liar and crook Keir Starmer issued a series of directives which specifically created, in effect, a number of additional aggravating kind of assaults on the rights of the most vulnerable people and the most in need people needing the help of the DWP, which is the Department for Want. Well, we call it the Department for Want and Poverty Creation, but it's officially known as the Department for Work and Pensions. Now, the emphasis on work was added by the liar, Tony Blair. And that was an emphasis that was inserted there, and the actual purpose of social security by the state was completely denied. So when people are talking about Keir Starmer leading kind of a government in the event of a victory of the opposition at the next election, whenever that is, they don't talk about Keir Starmer as a liar, at a really creepy kind of worst level of lies and liars. Now, it was during the liar Keir Starmer's reign as the Director of Public Prosecutions that Ian Dracula Duncan Smith used a lot of references to this liar in order to create legalistic excuses for pushing large numbers of disabled and physically in need of help people. So he said, Keir Starmer, that higher hurdles should be created for benefit claimants who want to claim benefits because of illness, etc., etc. And by doing that, he aggravated the already punishing, deadly denial of money, basic money to these people, who were then pushed because of the desperate no man's land, wasteland that they were pushed into by the withholding illegal, unlawful, criminally intended withholding of the money that they badly needed. Starmer, in effect, pushed them to their deaths as part of the legalistic role he played in association with the Dracula Duncan Smith. It was quite a while before all of this came to surface. And the fact that there are hundreds of people committed suicide directly resulting from the DWP's program to cause them suicide deaths. This came out, but there is no discussion. There has been no discussion in the Labour Party in Parliament, by the Labour Party in Parliament, or indeed by any of the other parties in Parliament, demanding that whoever was responsible should be properly held to account. So Keir Starmer added new hurdles as conditions for the most vulnerable and most in need claimants for DWP benefits. And he said they should be denied the help and instead they should be treated as criminals. That is what he did. So it is the same Keir Starmer who previously colluded with the criminal Paula Monzila-Uddin and did not recommend that she be prosecuted. So Private Lie is now saying that she got away from that time from being prosecuted, but now she has become what they are insinuating. She has become part of the propaganda arm or propaganda activities of the Chinese regime, because she has now got herself an engagement with the Chinese government. This is the Keir Starmer who is supposed to be going to be the leader of the government, member of the government, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and if Rishi Sunak falls. And there is no debate, as I said. There is no debate about social security in the Labour Party or initiated by the Labour Party. What there has been from time to time is the tokenistic, corruptly staged stunts about debate about the behavior of the DWP or the behavior of the other departments of the government. Okay, so we notice that Keir Starmer has been given the kind of credit about Suella Braverman and the hateful spiels and attitude that she has been showing towards the asylum seekers, the migrants, etc. But Keir Starmer is not any better. In fact, he is as bad as Suella Braverman on his record. And Labour Party MPs like Clive Lewis, who keep kind of staging their own little stunts, do that, do those kind of stunts making by suggesting that they are on top of the failings of Keir Starmer, but they really don't spell it out. We shall continue about all of those as and when necessary. Well, here is the, what's her name? The Dodds. The Labour Party's Dodds, who is there. And the Annalisa Dodds. Now, quite apart from the Dodds, the outings during the first question times, Prime Minister's question time, had the option of the real issues of asylum and migrants and the quote, the whole debate about the Suella Braverman has been centered on the fact that she has been breaking codes and issuing statements on personal email address where she should not have done that. And Yvette Cooper, the shadow home secretary so-called, has been doing the same thing as Starmer has been doing. So this Annalisa Dodds is featuring in the news. Again, her featuring in the news in Private Lies comments, I think, is as typically dishonest as any of the other Labour Party member being featured in the context of the Conservative criminality and the criminal Home Secretary, the latest criminal Home Secretary, let's say, being allowed to stay in the post. So this idiot, David Maddox, is saying that Paraguay should be harder to challenge. Now, what kind of sick joke is this? The duty that rests on the United Kingdom government over asylum seekers is to process their applications in Britain, and to do that by following the highest standards of objectively judged fairness, due process, and the rule of law. Maddox is like proving to be another. So all the comments that people have made about Suella Braverman, of course, the comments by definition of the demography have come from mainly white politicians, in fact, and the most extensive, detailed criticisms have come from the MP like Roger Gale. Roger Gale is a senior kind of person. He's a kind of, I think he's in his 70s, but I can check that one. And as a local member of parliament for that area where the Khoodeelaar is based, the the director of public prosecution currently now has got no prosecution lined up for the lying home secretary. And she thinks Khoodeelaar Cruella Suella that the careerists fear that if they lose the election, and that means that many of them would lose their seats. So for them, it would be a nightmare. And the ones that actually have been out of jobs by the DWP manipulation, the charade of the PMQs on the 2nd of November, it showed the limited kind of cognitive abilities on the part of Keir Starmer, because he left the question, the number one introductory question, and then he left the details to be kind of presented in Parliament in his absence or on his behalf. I have come to the conclusion that the Conservative Party doesn't actually exist. The Conservative Party all the debate that has happened is a kind of mirage. It has not been actually substantially addressing the real dysfunction and corruption and dishonesty on the part of the Conservatives. So we shall be, again, as I said, covering this as and when necessary as updates. Now, over to Pakistan and the reported shooting in which 11 people have been injured so far. I say so far because I haven't yet checked the Pakistan news outlets, except watched past the one lone woman and her corrupt. So we have been 35 minutes and 35 minutes and 35 seconds on this broadcast. Now over to Pakistan and the reported shootings included 11 people have been shot according to one item that we have seen on internet. And Imran Khan has got shot in his leg. Now this is only the initial report, the preliminary reports, and this is the kind of day that probably the day before the end of the long march, which has been very successful and has been participated in by a very large number of people in from across Pakistan. And the main demand is for the holding in Pakistan of a free and fair election. And the detailed kind of a resolution, of course, do exist, but they have not been made available to us. We have a fine way to give the excuse of not holding that to the actual standard. The Imran Khan has been injured in the leg, and I think he has been in hospital. He has been rushed to the hospital. Now, the Ball News showed a kind of clip or clips of a man who's they say was the one who was shooting at Imran Khan, and he kept saying repeatedly that he wanted to kill Imran Khan. The unseen voice asked him why, and he didn't answer that question. And the unseen voice included others that have been on the front page of the spin. One of the unfinished kind of revolution, I'm using the term of the complete racist criminal from America, Lawrence Lifshul, the cunt. The Pakistan election is the most pragmatic kind of way to solve the crisis that has been created by the stooges in power and central government level in Pakistan. The stooges actually removed the democratic elected president, and they would have done this. They would have done so this time as well if they were not caught and stopped. I mean, the speed with which these so-called victims kind of want any airing. The people who have been targeted by this man from High Wycombe were not living anywhere near this petrol bomber. He lived in fairly reasonable, fairly affordable. For him, it is affordable anyway. Multi-share. There should be a screen somewhere so that people are not really distracted from the particular other kind of screens that distract during the broadcast on this, using this particular software. Now, in the case of the Imran Khan's allegation that the foreign power that was instrumental in getting his regime out had one of the worst individuals imposed as declaration for the Maldimore. So before you go, as I said, we need to exchange the contract details. Now, the point about the election call is so that in Pakistan, the backlog of corrupt behavior, the mountains and mountains of corruption, that would be got rid of. As I said in part one, the face of Cruella, got taken off the front pages of the Free Street newspapers by a contrite criminal kind of appearance of the most shockingly embarrassing Matt Hancock. The Hancock owes lots of money to many people. And when the COVID-19 became the reason for the UK economy to be suspended, mainly out of pressure from the Ian Duncan Smith. This was the time when the other backlog could have been got rid of. But it seems that 1 year after the kind of other big attacks on the people of Bombay, on the conspiracy that Matt Hancock must have been involved in will be revealed later in due course. But he gave a breathing space to Rishi Sunak by providing the diversion that was himself going to the jungle. Yes, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, etc. But when he is actually out of the media kind of spotlight in that way, what does Matt Hancock get up to? Nobody knows. But Sunak, when he did the Fala scheme, Sunak actually gave hundreds of millions and billions of pounds were given to big business mainly, who in turn were Khan's party donors. And there has been no account. Conventionally, there has been no account as to where the money went and what project was supposed to be actually being funded and to what extent did the project materialize, or did So when Sunak gave the money, and based on the exaggerated claim that he saved the UK economy from collapse, that was the main reason why he was said to have acquired the clout as a competent finance minister and a competent member of the cabinet. Now, this time when he reappointed Cruella Beaverman, uh, sorry, Braverman, to the post in the Home Office, what he was doing was to capitulate to the right wing or far right of the Conservative Party to which she belongs. And that he did against the advice of most of the consultants and advisors and commentators, etc., etc. It stands to reason that this individual was appointed to the Home Office as the Home Secretary after it became quite clear that she lied, that she had lied about the role that she got given initially. I have absolutely no confidence in Rishi Sunak, and I have no confidence in any of the so-called Labour Party left-wingers. And I, of course, never have the and consistent with the Keir Starmer's own record as being as bad and as cruel as the Conservatives is the fact that he has not demanded accountability from the DWP, because he knows that even if he touches the DWP modestly and in front of independent, objective witnesses, he would not be able to get away with the past, and he would be subject to his constituency currently is one called well, referred to as the constituency of the parliament. But when people were asked about whether they supported Johnson's behavior, activities, most of the people said they didn't. Some said they did, but the majority of them said they didn't. The rest of the message to the Pakistan Tehreek Insaf in their rally and the long march is that don't give up, don't stop. So we shall elaborate on all of those in due course later. But for the time being, don't ever even think of stopping this campaign. So we come to the end of this particular part 2 of the program, and we shall catch up with the rest of the bits that we have not updated on.